today we have different speakers from different organizations who's going to talk a little bit about what they're going to do and how the ECOPs can be part of this initiative. We will have the presentations running and we will have a short, brief time for a few questions. Evgenia will also present herself from how to start a node and establish more details about ECOP during today and tomorrow's meeting. And if there is any questions that you want to ask, feel free to ask the questions directly to the presenters immediately after the presentation. If not, you could have space also in the question and answer session as well. Now I would like to invite Evgenia to give a short presentation on introduction to ECOP program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew, and hello everyone. So I'm really excited about this webinar. We have this idea to connect stakeholders and ECOPs all around Europe, Middle East and Northern Africa, because we have seen that there is this lack of connections between these regions. And also it's always good to increase our networking and connecting opportunities. But first of all, we have very exciting agenda for you today with our esteemed speakers and representatives of our ECOP program nodes. But first, I would like to give a short overview and summary of what we are doing at the ECOP program. For those of you who might not be familiar with our work. So let me just share my presentation. Just a second. Can you see it okay?
Yes, but it's not yet in the presentation mode.
Should be now. Yes?
Yes.
All good?
Yep.
Great. So first of all, welcome again. My name is Evgenia. I'm the global coordinator of the ECOP program. So first of all, an ECOP stands for an early career ocean professional. And we are an official UN Ocean Decade endorsed program. So we were endorsed in June 2021. We have been in operation for almost 4 years already. We have set up a really huge database and community of early career ocean professionals around the world. So the UN Ocean Decade is really an international and global initiative aiming to solve some of the pressing ocean challenges and achieve ocean outcomes such as clean ocean and accessible ocean. And of course, the ECOP program also works to achieve all those goals and aims of the UN Ocean Decade. So first of all, what we do is we connect people, we provide networking opportunities, capacity development opportunities, financial opportunities. So we want to make sure that early career ocean professionals have an easy access to all those opportunities, and where there are none, we try to set them up ourselves. So an ECOP, by definition that we use in our program, is someone within their 10 years from their last professional education. So quite early in their career. We do not have an age cap. So we are not saying that an ECOP is someone who is younger than 35, because we acknowledge that there can be various life scenarios. So we really want to be as broad, as wide, as welcoming as possible. So we do not work only with academia or in research institutions. We really welcome anyone. So if somebody is a journalist interested in marine conservation, if somebody is a citizen scientist or a diver, we really welcome all, because we think that this is what is really necessary to drive the ocean science forward. Right. So it's very easy to be a member of our program, even though, when we post opportunities, we really want everyone to benefit from them, even if you're not a member. And also, I really believe that a huge part of our work is really important and interesting for those who are not ECOPs by definition. So really welcome. We are not checking your CV. And there is a simple form that you need to fill in to become our member. And if I can ask Natalie to just post our link to sign up for our newsletter and our global registry, the same link. It would be great. So it's very easy for you can do it very, very easily. Okay, so here's some stats. We have almost 7,000 members, and we have nodes and task teams and endorsed projects. So nodes is basic. We have 6 regional nodes, and we have a regional node for Europe, and we have national nodes, national hubs. So basically, this is a community or teams of people working in a country or in a region, developing the existence of the ECOP program in that country or region. So here I have listed those countries that we have where we have established nodes in Europe, which might be of interest to many of you here. We also have an established node in Morocco, and we have an emerging node in Lebanon. So we did notice that a lot of things are happening kind of in Europe and Middle East and Northern Africa, but it looks like there is still this disconnect for cooperation projects. So I think this is why we are doing this webinar today, is because we want to really have those bridges and find those synergies and bring people together with such events as ours. And then we have task teams. So task teams, these are communities or groups of people that work on something overarching. So such as ocean literacy or training and mentoring, diversity, equity, inclusivity. Ocean Bridges is a group that really connects ECOPs and established professionals. Deep Ocean, our newest task team working on deep sea, and private industry. This is a group from Fugro, who said that private industry ECOPs also need to have a solid presence in the ECOP program. Then we have endorsed projects. So these are the projects that we get from calls for decade actions under the UN Ocean Decade. So they are also quite international, and everything can be found on our website. So the aim of our program is really to foster capacity development opportunities. And here on this slide to the left, you can see that we have so many members from 166 countries at the moment. So there's really a huge outreach with a lot of talent, a lot of skills and expertise that we have. And then to the right, you see that what we have already done since 2021, since our official endorsement. So we made a global survey in 2020 where we asked ECOPs all around the world. We asked, what are your needs? What are your challenges? That was right at the beginning of the UN Ocean Decade, basically when there was when everything was under preparation. We were helping with implementation plan for the decade, etc. So we asked ECOPs all around the world, what are the needs that you have? And what we got was basically the same answer from anywhere, which was, yes, we need funding and we need more information, more access to capacity development opportunities, more access to jobs. Somewhere jobs was really a big problem. It was very hard to find a job in the ocean sector. So I think that those results really laid the basis for all our work afterwards. And we started to partner with organizations to create capacity development opportunities and courses. So now we still do that. So even with this webinar, we either share those knowledge that our partners, other stakeholders have, or we try to create those capacity development opportunities. So 2 years ago, NORAD, Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, they supported the trainings that were co-organized by our program and our stakeholders in the Caribbean and in Africa. That was a huge success. We had a lot of interest that was totally online, so no cost for our participants, and we saw that there's a huge demand. So we continued with that, and then we partnered with Ocean Teacher Global Academy. Tomorrow there will be a separate presentation on this. So here's where we create our trainings, where we see that there is a lack of that specific training. And we provide this for free. So we were doing that online for several years, and now we start to do it in person as well. So here is again just an example that we have been having all those webinars since 2022, and you can see that the topics really are various. So these were 2022, 2023, and here is 2024 and 2025. Now we have several more for May and June, and already July. So again, if any of you would like to share your knowledge, your expertise, or maybe you want to get knowledge on a specific topic, please do come to us, share your idea, and we will try to either have a speaker on that topic, find a speaker on this topic, or we would very much welcome you as a speaker talking about this. So we really focus on sharing those opportunities with our membership. And then, so we have noticed that there are a lot of opportunities, but it's sometimes very hard to catch them on the web, unless you just spend 24 hours looking for those opportunities. There are funding opportunities, even though it's quite hard sometimes to find fitting one. But we thought that we need to really compile them in one place, so that it's easier for ECOPs to find those. So we created a mentorship programs database, and here you can see the link. But if I may, Natalie, could you please also post this in the chat? So here's a compilation of the mentorship programs all around the world, also filtered by region. Again, for easy access for ECOPs. And then we have also started with the stakeholders map. So this is a map that now sits on the web page for Asia. So Natalie, I will kindly ask you to share this link as well. Mm-hmm. So this is a map for Japanese stakeholders at the moment. But we will be expanding this for the whole region of Asia in the coming weeks. Up until EUNOC, it will be officially launched for the whole Asia at EUNOC. But the pilot project, the pilot map for Japan, is already on that web page that Natalie will send you the link now. So it's I think it's very beneficial to know, the main organizations in the region. And it seems obvious, but we found that many people do not actually know, like a lot of institutions. So we thought that if we do that, that would be really a huge benefit for those who start their career. And then, as I said, there are opportunities, but it's difficult to find them. So we are now working on a database for funding opportunities, capacity development opportunities. It will be an open database, so everyone will be able to contribute. And we also hope to launch it at EUNOC, before EUNOC. And the same goes for networks. Now there's a huge support for networks, huge support for youth networks at various organizations. And we have compiled this list. So we'll also launch it. We will also launch it at UNOC. So again, all this very valuable information will be available on our website. So then the question is, what are the benefits of joining the ECOP program? Well, first of all, it's really great connections that you can make here. So you can join this community of like-minded people who care about the ocean, who can share their ideas, who have these really great initiatives in mind. And I think when you get together, you really amplify this powerful force. You can learn about great international opportunities from our newsletter. So if you sign in, we have a regular monthly newsletter. Sometimes we send some really cool updates a bit more often, and really opportunities that you won't find anywhere else. And then it's really you can be the change that you want to see in the ocean area, in the ocean sector. You can set up a task team, you can set up a project. Basically, all of our projects, they have been set up from the bottom. So people have come to us and said, like, why don't we have a task team on deep sea research, for example? And then at conferences, we offer support. We tend to organize ourselves. We have informal gatherings, so you don't need to dread conference anymore. And you can just be so at conferences I'm sorry, can you please mute yourself? So at conferences, really, it's a great opportunity to connect and network and really support your career. Right. So speaking about conferences, of course, everybody's talking about the One Ocean Science Congress and about the UN Ocean Conference. We will be there, so it will be really great to meet all of you there. We have a huge agenda for both weeks. Here you can see only those events that we have confirmed as of now, but we have several in the pipeline. I just cannot share the exact dates. So it's we are coordinating the whole day of programming at the European Digital Ocean Pavilion on June 3rd. Come and see us. We'll be there for the whole day from 10:30 to 6 p.m. On June 4th, we'll have a special town hall at the One Ocean Science Congress on capacity development. We also have ECOP Days, so this is virtual ECOP Days. And then we also have event at the German scientific vessel Meteor on June 11th, which is organized by our node of Germany, Austria, Switzerland. So really plenty of opportunities apart from that as well, plenty of opportunities to network and connect with like-minded people. So of course, all of that information will be on our website, ecopdk.org, and you can check that for regular updates, opportunities, etc. We have a dedicated page on the UNOC on our participation and about all of our plans. You can also find it there. And Natalie, if I can ask you also again to share the link to join the ECOP registry. So the ECOP registry for the attendance of UNOC is about just also filling a very short form. If you are attending the Congress or UNOC, we are gathering all this information because then we will have a WhatsApp group, so for coordination on the ground. We'll have two informal events, and this is really a great opportunity to, stay connected, get to know each other there, meet each other, and really have all the updates about what's happening, where you should go, recommendations for events, etc. Really very helpful. We have done it several times already, and at the major conferences, really very useful. I would also recommend you to check the Ocean Decade Network, where we also have a group there Also plenty of interesting information and useful information, especially about the UN Ocean Decade. And here is the slide with our social media accounts. So please make sure to subscribe at least to our LinkedIn. We post all of our updates there very regularly so that you don't miss anything. So I'll stop here and I can reply to any questions in the chat or in the Q&A session as Matthew will moderate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Evgenia, for a very detailed information for the entire group of attendees. Now I think we can move to our presentation by Alexandra Nates. She is the Senior Advisor in European Aquaculture Technology and Innovation Platform IATA based in Brussels. So over to you, Alexandra.
Yeah, I need to unmute myself, which is done now. So I hope you can see the presentation. Yes. Thank you. So very happy to be here and very impressed by everything I've been hearing until now. I mean, it's really a lot of amazing job you're doing for the organization, and I'm very happy that also aquaculture, which I'm representing in this meeting, is being invited to the table to give a short presentation. Because often it's maybe a different part of the blue sector and not always put into the center, but I think it's really nice to be included in this type of organization and event. So thank you for that. As Matthew said, my name is Alexandra Nates. I'm a senior advisor at the European Aquaculture Technology and Innovation Platform. So in its heart, it is European, but we also have international collaboration, which involves also other parts of the world. So I will talk a little bit about, I'm not sure, maybe some of you have heard about technology platforms before. It's not a new thing. In contrast with a lot of other maybe organizations and that are popping up or that are being set up or established, European technology platforms were in fact launched as early as the 7th framework program of the European multi-annual innovation platform. So it has been launched in order to really provide consensus input to research and innovation, because the European Commission did not really have the feel with all the different sectors and what are the main priorities for developing a sector further. So at that moment, it was encouraged for the different sectors from across all economic areas to set up these type of platforms, which was done also for the aquaculture sector. So in 2008, and so we are one of the 38 European technology platforms at this moment. So we do have, as yourself, also members, but we don't have individual members. We have institutional members, which are both, it's an industry-driven platform, so it is really aquaculture companies, both from the whole value chain, so producers, but also suppliers of technology, of services, of feed, etc., but also research organizations, universities, and associations are being a member in the platform. In addition to these type of individual members, we also have cluster members, which are regional platforms. We call them mirror platforms, as they are a little bit like ourselves, like ECOP, but at a regional scale. So meaning that they are multi-stakeholders, so they also represent industry, academia, and governmental organizations, but they are on a regional scale. And aquaculture, as you probably all know, is very diverse, so we need to have the kind of representation also both from fin fish, but also from shellfish, algae, marine, freshwater, land-based, sea-based, and all the complexity that is related to aquaculture. But we're not a lobby organization. We are really looking into research, innovation, and development. So that is the core of what we are doing. Of course, we don't work in a void, or we work very closely together with other organizations. We are one of several, as I said, the technology and innovation platforms. There's one, for example, in organics, the waterborne platform, Water Europe, Fabre on breeding. So we work closely together with them because they're all relevant also for aquaculture. The big associations that are European-wide, like the Federation of European Aquaculture Producers, or of the feed aquaculture, or the feed companies, not only aquaculture, but also across agri and aquaculture are a member, and also Shellfish or Association, for example. And then there are a lot of other research networks that you might be aware of, like European Aquaculture Society or the GPI Oceans that are working together with us. We cross the whole, not only the value chain of aquaculture, but also the innovation value chain. So going from Horizon Europe at a low TRL level, in cluster 6, for example, through mission projects from the European innovation community, and all the way to Blue Invest. We're looking really at startups and looking into new innovations in aquaculture. We need to have, well, we are representing, as I said, the sector as such, but we are working in a policy framework. Aquaculture is being managed nationally, so each nation has their own rules, regulations, laws to manage licenses for aquaculture. So this is not done on a European level, it's on a national level, but at the same time they have to comply with European legislation and policies. Here, for example, which is also very close to the Ocean Decade, it's on the Ocean Pact that has been launched. Also the Green Deal that sets a lot of the framework that we have to work within, and of course the Farm to Fork, which is also part of the Green Deal, and the Fruit 2030 strategy. There's a common fisheries and aquaculture policy, and then there are several communications that have been launched. The most important of them is the strategic guidelines for a sustainable European aquaculture sector for 2030, which puts a lot of recommendations on how different member states need to look into their development of aquaculture. But there have been some changes. I mean, with the whole, also the increased awareness of also biodiversity, of the impact aquaculture might have also on the ecosystem. So zero carbon, low emission, low impact aquaculture, also circular aquaculture, have been really promoted these last years. Also not only the aquaculture of fish, but of low trophic species, including also, for example, detritus feeders or algae that is being part of it, and having a more circular aquaculture, for example, through recirculation systems, organic aquaculture, etc. But we need to see, and I think it's in many countries like that. I mean, you have some big companies, but most of aquaculture companies are in fact small businesses, micro businesses, family companies. So this is also not always so easy to implement big changes or innovations, which is also an issue one has to look into. Yeah, there's just a few words. This is, of course, mainly for European level, but there are also a lot of opportunities, as has been mentioned here, for funding from Europe, for example, but also for an international collaboration. So we try also for our members in order to show and to facilitate the funding opportunities across these different programs. For example, we have had some international projects, both with Southeast Asia, also across the Atlantic, with South Africa and with the southern part of the Americas, in order to increase coordination and collaboration. So this is something we have our own international coordination working group at ECOP, which looks into new ways of supporting the international collaboration. So if there is anything that you as a group would like to take on or to collaborate with, when it's of course related also to aquaculture, then we're always interested to discuss these type of opportunities. So we also work into skills and training, lifelong learning opportunities. And we have recently also been involved as a stakeholder into the development of the aquaculture assistance mechanism. This is a repository, in fact. It's also like really trying to fit all the information that is relevant for aquaculture stakeholders, both from academia and industry, into one repository. So it shows both legislation, relevant laws and regulations, guidelines, but also best practices, projects, reports. You can find it all on this aquaculture assistance mechanism website. And in fact, if you have any reports or any projects you want to disseminate, it's possible to upload it here as well. So I would encourage anybody that would be interested or that has some information that you think that can be of value to others to use this site in order to register and to share this information on a high level. We as a technology platform are involved in several projects, as you yourself as well as the ECOP, but we have it's more on and so not really as a research agent, but more into the dissemination, the impact of research and innovation on the sector through, for example, Aqua Excel, other more Aqua Phoenix projects that are ongoing now. We're also in several projects as part of the advisory board in order to make the link between the projects itself and the aquaculture sector. Yeah, Matthew, you have to say stop if I am overdoing. I didn't take the time, so but. Well, yeah, just give me a sign. What I wanted to also to emphasize is we're working on a European level, but at the same time, the regional level is very important, and we have been appointed a trans-regional European partnership that is looking into transfer of knowledge and transfer of innovation between different regions. These are European regions, but as I said and mentioned, it's also possible to link it to other regional initiatives outside Europe. So we have now been included as a Circular Smart Aquaculture partnership. as part of the blue economy. So the blue economy is like the umbrella community of practice, and aquaculture is part of this. So we're working very much now in order to look how to improve transfer of innovation across these regions. And we're doing these type of exercises regularly in order to look into what are in fact the priorities we need to provide to the European Commission, to other collaboration and funding mechanisms for aquaculture. So it is something we do together within the partnership, within the membership of ECOP, and in order to look or what we can come to as a conclusion. And of course, it's not very easy because aquaculture, as I said, is very diverse. It's very has different interests. Maybe the finfish from the algae, the freshwater from the marine water. So there are a lot of different things to think about, but some issues are common for all of these, and these we want also to promote. So this is an event. I'll not read all of that, but we can share this afterwards as well. So what we also do, as you said, we have. Yeah.
1 minute more.
Sorry?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Yeah. So we do some different innovation transfer activities. We are in place in several events where we are trying to promote the uptake of research to the industry as well. And of course, raising awareness and engagement, that is something important because aquaculture is not always so there. All of the time. One thing I wanted, or two things I wanted to highlight. One is the circularity on aquaculture. There's a big thing on sludge, for example, the use of sludge from aquaculture to agriculture. So there you have a lot of technological innovations, but also on the acceptance of how to use this byproduct for further use. And how it can be valorized in a better way. And another thing is also the marine spatial planning. So we're all competing for using a space as part of the space from the ocean. So how can aquaculture be take part of this in collaboration with other sectors that are important for land use? So yeah, this was the end. So I'm just showing. This is the website that we have. You just can go to etip.eu, and there you will find a bit more on. Everybody can become a member as well. So that's a bright simple way to do so. But as I said, it's not individual. It's on an institutional basis. And if you want more information, just contact me. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Alexandra. So far, we have not seen any questions, but I have one question for you, which is like you have already touched upon technology transfer, because Europe uses a lot of latest advanced technology, but that may not be the case in several of the other regions. And we have Middle Eastern team members here, as well as those from Africa. So is there some plans in which you can do the technology transfer to them, or training for them by which they can also benefit to use some of the strategies that Europe had learned?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I'm always having this mind of the frugal approach that has been also mentioned before. I think it's very important. And I think also companies are very much more aware of the need to adapt technologies. I mean, it's not just one system fits all. It has to be adapted to the local conditions. I mean, as you say, maybe the size of the production systems, but also the climate. So there are a lot of adaptations, and it's not only just copy paste. It's something that has to be done in collaboration with the stakeholders at place, and that is very much I think something that has grown during the last years, that this is an important service to provide in addition to selling or trying to implement an innovation in another place.
Thank you, Alexandra. I appreciate your presentation and giving information to our peers. Now, I think we, from aquaculture and technology platform, we will jump on to more technology-based applied work from Frederick Soreide. He is the chief scientist in Promer. Over to you, Frederick.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me good? Or
yes.
So I haven't used Zoom for a long time, so I see if I can be able to share this thing. That should be okay. Let me see. There we go. Can you see it now, or I have to do this one?
It's coming. Yes, not in presentation mode yet.
Trying to. There we go.
Yes, it is on. Over to you.
Excellent. Okay, very good. So thank you very much for the invitation. So I'm here to talk about Promare or Promer or Promar, or somebody thinks it's a horse thing because it's if you're a British speaker, you know that mare is horse related, but this is really an organization that was started in 2001. It's a US non-profit, started in 2001, and the name really comes from promoting marine research and exploration. And you probably have never heard about Promare, and the only thing you may have seen is the ship that we see from the top there. It's the Mayflower autonomous ship, and that's a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today. So we started out in 2016 thinking about building a fully autonomous, full-sized ship. At that time, there was only like a few small remote control boats, but we wanted to build one that was actually going out into the open ocean and able to navigate by itself, sense, think, and make decisions as it sailed. And it should be a research vessel because that's what we are all about. So we also wanted to make a platform for autonomous research vessels to see how we could use this in a more smart way to gather data about the ocean. And one of the things that we were focused on, I'll come back to a few of those, it's ocean health, of course, pollution, marine mammals, and things like that. And at the same time, we wanted to commemorate the 400-year anniversary of the historical Mayflower voyage, which sailed in 1620 from Plymouth to the US. So we wanted really to sail in 2020. Because of COVID, we sailed in 2022. So it took a little bit extra time to get across the Atlantic Ocean. And at that time, first ever crossing of an autonomous ship across the Atlantic Ocean. So the Mayflower ship is really all about technology and ships and doing science the good way. The voyage is quite long. It's a 3,400 miles journey across the Atlantic from Plymouth to Plymouth. And as you can see, we have a cutout of the ship here. It's basically not too much inside the ship. It's propelled by one electric thrusters. It's got batteries. It's got a diesel generator, and it's got solar panels to power the batteries. And that together will give it enough power to cross the Atlantic. And then we have on board, we also have space for a lot of computers and scientific equipment that we put on board the ship. So here is the Mayflower autonomous ship in 2022 when it was leaving from Plymouth, UK. So it's, as you can see, it's a very sleek ship. So we were hoping for good weather when we crossed there. IBM is one of the main sponsors of the projects, and they happen to own the Weather Channel. So the Weather Channel were making a lot of analysis for us to see when would be the best time to cross the Atlantic and with this little small ship. So controlling the whole thing is really an AI captain, what you call it. It's an automated decision-making system. As you can see from the left, you have a lot of sensors that we use to capture data, visual data, radar data, wind sensor, GPS, a lot of different things, which we then take into the ship. We then assess and decide what to do with that data. We have trained the data on a lot of different things. So with all collision regulations, for instance, SOLAS requirements, and a lot of different things that we can use to see how should this ship navigate if it meets any obstructions or something strange happens on the route. for the ship. And then this is verified and then put into the control of the ship. And we're doing machine learning all the time to improve this. And of course, the weather channel, as I said, will help us with the weather. So a lot of this is then being used to navigate the ship by itself. So we oversee the navigation all the time with manned people in control centers. But in theory, this ship sails except only by itself. And as you can see, as I said, this is not a very big ship. And the ocean is very, very big. So this is really what it looked like most of the time when we crossed from England to the US. I think that we actually only met like 2 or 3 of the ships. So it's much easier to have a self-navigating or self-driving boat than having a self-navigating car, that's for sure. So if we had meet people, this is one of the things that we've been working a lot on. It's then navigating and doing image recognition. So the question is, when you see things, what is it? Is it is it a ship? Is it something else? Is it a buoy? What should I do when I see this? Should I give way? Should I stand on? What are the regulations? What are the fastest route to the next waypoint? How much battery level do I have left? So what kind of route will I use to get to it? These are the questions that we constantly ask when we're sailing around with this. But of course, this is first and foremost, it's a research vessel, and that's my interest also in the thing mainly. It's a very interesting ship, but also what we want to do is to do a lot of research. And the question then comes to, how do you do research from an unmanned vessel? There is nobody on board, nobody to do anything. So we have 3 payload bays for scientific equipment with about 700 kilos of payload capacity. And we have a lot of arrays on board. We have acoustic arrays, we have water and air samplers, we have nutrition sensors, sonar, depth sensors, a lot of different things. And these are some of the research areas that we are working on. And of course, we're not doing this alone. It's a whole group of people being involved in this, a lot of universities, especially in the UK and the US, but it's open for more people if anybody's interested. And we do have a lot of sponsors that give us a lot of equipment that we have on board the ships that we can use for different things. So some of the things that we are doing is, especially as I said, ocean health. So we do measure constantly temperature, salinity, oxygen, pH all the time, PCO2. We have a fluorometer, and we do have more specialized equipment. Hypertaste is an AI-assisted chemical testing of liquids that we do on the way. And we do also have a microscope to look for microplastics, and also being able to actually take in plastic samples or water samples and then analyze them for plastic at a later stage. As I said, there is nobody on board to take it away. So we can pump in water as we speak. On the marine mammals side, so watch the marine mammal in the front bow of the ship. So that's a cool picture. They are a really interesting thing. We're working with the Jupiter Foundation in Hawaii. We do have a lot of acoustic sensors on the ship, so that we can actually listen out for marine mammals as we go. And they are now at the moment training a lot of AI models. So when they hear marine mammals, they can not only say almost where it is, but they can also say what species of whale that we're talking about. So that's very interesting. So if you have a lot of these ships out, you can get a lot of more information that you could not get with a manned ship. And then one of the biggest projects that we've had so far, and we just finished really, is the Ocean Twilight Zone project with Woods Hole Oceanographic outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And this really is a project. We have sonars on the ship. Woods Hole have sonars on buoys, and we are tracking fish and really following fish around. So one of the things that we're doing is automatically trying to follow fish and see where they go. So that's one of the interesting things that we're doing. So one of the things that I'm really working on that we think is very good is in the future that the AI captain will not only navigate based on these standard navigation sensors, but we will actually use the science sensors to navigate the ship. It will give us a whole different way of thinking about how to use this ship. We can, for instance, follow fronts, we can follow different things of plankton, we can follow a lot of different things automatically, and the ship will just find these things using the sensors and then follow it around. And also remember that we're having an autonomous ship, and this ship can stay out for about a month. There is nobody on board that gets seasick, nobody that gets bored. So this ship can really do a lot of things that you probably wouldn't use a big manned research vessel to do. So it's very important also for us to try to find out, okay, where do the unmanned research vessel fit into the mix this thing. And I think there's a combination of having manned ships and unmanned ships. It's really the future of where we're going at the moment. And this is the Mayflower in the Azores on the way crossing. So we had a stopover in the Azores on the way over, actually also commemorating the Challenger expedition. Challenger expedition, for those who don't know, is the first oceanographic expedition in the world, so setting out from Portsmouth in 1872. So it also coincided with the 150-year anniversary. So we actually visited 2 of the stations that the Challenger expedition did in 1873 and 1874 with the Mayflower, and took the same data set that they did. So 150 years later. So that was very interesting. And here the ship has arrived in Plymouth, US. This on the other side, and this is actually the replica of the original Mayflower. So you can see the sizing here. This is the original Mayflower that sailed to America in 1620. Not the original, but the replica of the original one. So you can see the size difference of the ships. So it's 2 very interesting ships. So not only Mayflower, I just wanted to catch up briefly with you a little bit on other projects that we're doing. Promare is not only about Mayflower. We are doing a lot of, especially deep water biology and archaeology projects. This is a research vessel that we are using in Norway. So this is on the south coast of Norway. This ship is actually also, we have actually just finished rebuilding this also. So it's also now, it can be used as an unmanned ship also. We can remote control it if you want to. It's a fully DP vessel with ROVs. One of our big focus things is deeper water, trying to get beyond the dive depths with these ships. So I'll just show you a little bit. This is one of the biggest projects we've been working on the last year in Norway. It's a Viking waterway. So we've been looking for really old ships. It turns out that in Norway, a lot of the ships that you find on the water is from the 18th century. That's the predominant one. For a long time, it's very difficult to find older ships. So one of the things that we want to do is to survey this Viking waterway. And it's not our, I understand that those of you who don't know where Norway is, we can just say this is in the south of Norway. And the waterway is coming from the reindeer on the top there, Skinnarbu, and all the way to the coast. And on the coast there is some of the biggest Viking settlements that we had in Norway during the Viking Age. Gokstad, Tønsberg, Oseberg, Borre, they all had. And they traded a lot with what was going on in the inland times. So, and what they did is they transported a lot of this goods, which turned out to be meat from reindeer antler, whetstones, things of very unusual things that they took down the waterway. It's a lot of lakes connected with the rivers. So in the summer they used barges, and they took all these goods down the waterway on barges. In the wintertime, they put it on sleds and took it down the ice. So it's a very efficient way of getting merchandise out to the coast. This is the whetstone carrier at one of the ends of the one. It's actually Norway's first export article. This is used to sharpen knives, for instance, or swords. And these have been found all over Europe and all the way into North Africa, actually, whetstones from this quarry here. And it was being exported from Norway from around year 700 going forward. So this, we wanted to survey this, never been surveyed before. So we borrowed this really good side scan sonar that we were surveying down the lakes, and we found shipwrecks. As you can see, the quality of the sonar work is really, really good. And we found lots of shipwrecks. In this image alone, there is actually about 17 shipwrecks. So it's in one image alone. One of the reasons for this is, of course, this export, but most of these shipwrecks, the big ones that you can see here, are barges. So in total, we found more than 100 shipwrecks, of which 50 of them are barges. So this is just one part. All of the red dots are really a shipwreck that we found during this survey. And all of these are related to industrial activity up the lake later on, which is a really interesting story in itself, but I don't have time to go through that, I think. So we can do that on a later stage if anybody's interested, or you can check out our website. And you can see the barges here, and you can see they are similar to what we found on the bottom. At one stage, what they did at this area is that they had one generation of wooden barges, and then they started to building steel barges, and they didn't need the wooden barges anymore, so they sank them, all of them. So they took them over and they sank them in the 1920s, 30s. So we found a lot of different things that have been sunk into the lake for about 70, 80 years ago. And this one, really nice ferry boat. I have no idea why this one sank. Any ideas? So it's probably would not have been okayed today, I think, for transport of people. So we found this one actually in the middle of the lake, but I don't think anybody perished when it went down. So that's good. And then coming out of the waterway, we were looking really for shipwrecks. As I said, very few shipwrecks been found that are of older age. So we were going on. This is on the outside in the ocean, on the outside of the waterway. And then this is basically based on a tip that we got. It's found by sports divers in the 1960s, and it is loaded with grinding stones. And it turns out then that probably this shipwreck is probably from year about 1150, 1200, something like that. We don't really know exactly because we do not have any organic material. So this one is also loaded with whetstones from the waterway. As you can see the whetstones there. So what we found out is that all of the wood, everything is gone. So these stones, whetstones, grinding stones, are really an indicator of really, really old shipwrecks. And it's really the only thing that is left also on the seafloor when you look for these things. And eventually then this led us to this location, which is a really beautiful place in the south of Norway. And then here we found what is Norway's only Viking Age shipwreck, also based on the fact that it's based on finding the grinding stones. So here you can see the grinding stones to the left. And on this one, we also found a lot of reindeer antler, which is possible to date, and part of the wooden structure. So this has been dated several times now. It's the oldest shipwreck ever found in Norway, and the only Viking Age shipwreck that is found in Norway, in the water. So, okay, are you getting anxious, Matthew, or is it okay? Okay, I have one more ship. So this one is last year, so I'll leave you with this one. This is Den håpefulle tronfølger. I have a 2-minute video. Do you want to see that one?
Yeah, yes, please.
It's really a deep water exploration of a shipwreck. It was a shipwreck that had been to France, to Burgundy, to pick up a big cargo of French wine. 1780s period would have been good. I was getting peculiarly interested in this one. So we went out and we found the shipwreck, and you can see. I'll see if I can see the video here. So there we go. It's just about 2 minutes. It shows a little bit of what we're doing with ROVs on the deep water. So this was the ship was owned by the Norway's wealthiest man in the 1770s, 70s, 80s. He had 30,000 employees in Norway, which was unheard of. And he was also known for having the most elaborate parties. So he was partying very hard. So we think that the wine was going to be used for some of his parties. So here we're coming out. This is in the south of Norway. Good moods on board. So this is the ROV that we use for a lot of the archaeology work that we're doing. It was quite easy. We had very good ideas from written sources where they sank. So it took us mainly like 3 or 4 hours to find this shipwreck. So about there it is. It's about in 70, 80 meters of ship. It went on a rock. It turned out that the ship was standing on the rock for 2 or 3 days before it went out and sank. So what happened is that most of the people that live locally, they went on board and took all the wine. So there is no wine left on the ship. And the owners tried to get the wine back, but strangely enough, they said that they did not find any wine when they took it aboard. So I think there was a really good party in this area after the sinking. This is the only wine bottle that I actually managed to find on the shipwreck. So yeah. Unfortunately, also a lot of the wine was on caskets and not on bottles. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any more, if you want more information, there's quite a bit of information on our website, which is promare.org. So that's, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Frederick, for this very interesting presentation. We have a couple of questions and some really active reactions going in here. So we have Mohammed Humran from, I think he's from Yemen. So he was asking, he's really interested to buy one of these ROVs, first of all. And
yeah.
so this will, we can try to see how it works. And then he wants to know how can we take advantage of the AI maritime drones to monitor Red Sea environments, and also what are the ways in which we can mitigate the effect of submarine sonar that may potentially be harmful for the marine life in these enclosed regions?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So as I said, for mammals things, we are really just listening. It's not an active sonar, it's a passive sonar. So we're just listening, not using any active sonars. And I think if you look at side scan sonars and things like that, the effect and the wattage being used is very, very, very limited. So I think you really need to look into what kind of equipment that you want to use for different types of projects. But as you can see, as there are a lot of drones now, and I think also for the future, what we're looking into also a little bit is the communication between using AUVs and USVs in a combination, so that you can really have swarms of equipment coming out, so which will make it even more efficient. But I think we are in the very early days. I think for people being interested in this, I think that the way of thinking, how can we use this? How should we use this? Is one of the most important questions, because this is really now coming out into the market. And I think that you will see a lot of unmanned ships and AUVs coming in to the research field over the next 10 years. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. I have another question from Christiana Schulz. She's saying that she's really impressed by all the opportunities and the ship features that has been shown. But she's like really want to ask, like, how is the finance being going on, especially when US is cringing on with the research funding currently? Because
it's a good point. We are a US nonprofit, and we are funded by private individuals, so we are not being affected at all by the US system. But obviously that's an issue, but it's a whole issue. We could probably have a whole conference going on that. But we are using on our side, we are a private nonprofit, and we have a lot of companies that sponsor some of our activities, not all of them. So.
Perfect. One more question. It's an anonymous attendee, and he or she wants to know what is the maximum speed of Mayflower.
The Mayflower is the maximum speed at the moment is about 10 knots.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not a high-speed vessel, which is good. Then we have time to think before we crash into something. So yeah.
Thank you. I have one more question, because we had already been discussing with regard to the frugal solutions, monitor and observe, doing observations in several different regions, because some of the universities or those who are in active research may not have enough funds or money to buy something like this. So what are your strategies for developing frugal solutions? Or
at the moment, we are looking into making a much smaller version of the Mayflower. So and using a lot of sort of more open access sensors and sampling equipment that you can put on it. So in theory, I think that you can actually make the cost of this very, very. The Mayflower itself is a multi-million-dollar project, so obviously it's not for everybody. But I really think that you can get this down into a really much more interesting price range, which means that you can use it for research activities and not having to spend a lot of money. So of course it will have its limitations on what you can do, but it's surprisingly how much you can do. And also it's a lot of things you can do by having a good, if you have sensors and you have good people that can do software processing and things like that, you can really achieve incredible things. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Frederick. And now over to Julia Gattasi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Now, from technology and observations, we are moving more into like science policy and how we are going to use that, put the best use of these observations being made to better policy making and science policy communication. Over to you, Julia.
Thank you. So I'm sharing my screen and it's in reading mode. Is that okay for everyone? Can you see me and see the screen? Okay, so well, thank you for the invitation. I'm gonna speak with my Mediterranean accent for a change, and thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to present the MEDEC network. that stands for Mediterranean Experts on Climate and Environmental Change. This is a key science policy interface, so we can discuss more after what means science policy interface, but I think it speaks by itself. Focus on the climate and environmental change happening in the Mediterranean region and the risks associated for the human beings and the ecosystems. We address a large range of thematics, not only climate, but all the drivers of change, climatic and non-climatic, like pollution, land and sea use, and all the impacts and risks on for example, human health, assessing the adaptation and mitigation solution and implementing maybe in the region, while also including all the social aspects of it. Sorry, I have my stick. So the goal of this network is to contribute ultimately to the improvement of the policies in the region, and it's based on the process of for example, the IPCC and the IPBES that I'm sure that a lot of you already know. So we aim to produce the scientifically assessment of the risks in the region with a robust process inspired by the IPCC process. And we try to act as a regional science policy interface by presenting these results of the assessment to the policymakers and the general public when we can. And we try to have all the key results accessible. So we work on how we're gonna present them. We also identify possible gaps in the current research to promote the funding of this kind of topics that are not addressed well enough or known well enough, or the data heterogeneity in the region can be an issue as well. And we try to bridge the gap between the research and decision making. So we already have 10 years now. A brief history is that the MEDEC was created in 2015 in the context of the COP in Paris. It's a volunteer initiative from a group core of researchers and policymakers that aim to address the need of science policy interface. The main reason was that the Mediterranean region, for example, in the IPCC reports and other reports, was not addressed as a whole, but because of the 3 continents, maybe it was in different chapters dealing with each continent, or maybe spread out through different topics, so still in different chapters. And because of the specificity of the region, they feel the need that they really needed a specific assessment on this region, which is a hotspot of a lot of change and with a lot of vulnerability and risks. So in 2015, this was created with a core group of scientists and policymakers. And in 2016, they established the MEDEC Steering Committee, and the Scientific Secretariat was established later. So I'm actually working at the Scientific Secretariat that implement all the activities and that also act as a technical unit for the production of the report. And MEDEC is supported by the 2 main regional and intergovernmental institutions, which are the ECOP Programme and the Union for the Mediterranean. So as I said, it's a science policy interface. So on the side of the science, we have a network of scientists. So 600 scientists are registered, and since the creation of the MEDEC, we count more than 300 active members that contributed to the report from 35 countries. I want to focus on the fact that they contribute voluntarily on a volunteer basis, as in the IPCC. So we don't do new research. They really assess the current scientific knowledge and evaluate papers on different topics. And on the side of policy, as I said, we are supported by the main institutions of the region, and the Secretariat were I work is hosted by Plan Bleu, which is a regional activity center on sustainable development in the region, part of the UNEP map system. So UNEP map, I assume you will know from your field, but it's the regional cooperation platform that was established in 1975 as the first regional action plan, regional Cs, from the UNEP regional Cs program. So maybe you know other type of program in other C. Quickly for the functioning of the MEDAC. So as I said, it's a network of scientific experts, and the governance, we have three, for the governance, we have three coordinators. So Salpi Giangiorian from Lebanon, Joël Guillot from France, and Piero Lionello from Italy. Then the steering committee is composed of 12 experts and senior scientists from different countries and spanning a quite large range of expertise. At the Secretariat, we are 2, and the advisory board members is the representatives of the 3 main institutions I was talking about before, the Plan Bleu, UNEP MAP, and UFM, and another institution from Spain. Quickly, I won't go into details about all the results on the Mediterranean basin and the environmental change, but just to focus on the fact why we need this kind of science policy interface in this region. There is a lot of climate change impacts on this region, and as I said, not only from climatic drivers, but also from non-climatic drivers, so land and sea use change, pollution, increasing pollution, indigenous species, precipitation change, and sea level rise. And it's a hotspot of, I think I'm gonna maybe go quicker on that, but it's a hotspot of risk because a lot of the people also are living on the coast side because the tides are not so marked in the Mediterranean. So all of the socioeconomic assets and the ecosystems and human beings are living in this very vulnerable area along the coast. And so while it's not the region with the highest rate of expected warming on Earth, it's considered very particular because of the high exposure and vulnerability of the human societies and ecosystems. So I'm not going to read all the risks, but there's a lot. And addressing these challenges requires effort in both mitigation and adaptation. And for that, and to sustain policies that are going to apply that, we need risk assessment to support the policy making then. So that's the reason why there was a strong need of this science policy interface. So the first big achievement was the publication of the first Mediterranean assessment report in 2020. It was elaborated by 190 authors from 25 countries that assessed more than 3,000 publications in this work. It includes a summary for policymakers, as in the IPCC reports. It is now available in 9 languages. And the summary for policymakers was recognized by the 2 main institutions I was talking about before. So it was endorsed during the Barcelona COP. COP22 here is not the UNFCCC COP, but it's a Barcelona Convention COP, the one from the UNEP map on the Mediterranean Sea. So it's a legal system with decisions that are legally binding. And one of the decisions was to endorse this report, to recognize its scientific value and to encourage the countries and the future policies to take the results into account. And on the other side, it was recognized by the ministerial system of the Union for the Mediterranean. This big report was later included and was at the origin of other contributions. One notably was the contribution to the IPCC's latest report in a cross-chapter for the first time dedicated to the Mediterranean region, with some authors of the reports that contributed to the development of the cross-chapter in the IPCC. I'm just checking the time because I think I have maybe 1 minute left. Is that correct?
No, please go ahead. It's okay. I'll manage it.
Okay. And for the second phase, after this didn't stop there. Since then, and the publication, we had a lot of dissemination. We tried to do a lot of dissemination. We are invited to, webinars and high political events. And on the second phase, it was decided to produce 3 special reports on topics that are evolving fast or that are not developed enough in the first report. So one is on the coastal risks, the other one is on the water, energy, food, energy ecosystems nexus still in the Mediterranean. And the third one is on the nexus between environmental change, conflicts, and human migration. So the 2 first ones have been published in last November. During the UNFCCC ECOP this time, there was a press conference to present the summary for policymakers. And more than 150 authors from 15 to 20 countries actually have been contributing to this report still on a volunteer basis. And one of the summary for policymakers has been endorsed in the Barcelona Convention COP in 2023 as well. And right now we are starting the preparation of the second Mediterranean assessment report that will be published in 2028. So as you can see, it's a really long process. We try to share all these results. As I said, we have some policy recognition that we can see that the results are used in some policy text or decisions, and also we contribute and collaborate with other big assessments in the region from other institutions. So I already told you about the IPCC one, and there are some other from the Plan Bleu. The latest one is the one that is called Med 2050. It's a really interesting report if you have the occasion to look at it. It's a foresight study. So based on all the scientific results, for example, that we published and many other collaborations, they draft 6 pathways, sustainable pathways possible for the Mediterranean by 2050, including a lot of social indicators. I already said that we also share the knowledge through events, and we have some article in the press. So I think I will just finish because I think I made it too long, but on the principles of the reports, they involved a lot of authors. We really work hard to have the best representation we can have around the Mediterranean basin, even if it's complicated to have a very equal balance between northern countries and southern and eastern countries for a lot of different reasons. But we try hard to do that and to mix the expertise as well. It's more difficult to have social sciences, for example, but so we spend a lot of time to try to balance all that. The aim is to produce the most rigorous scientific report because we need this credibility to be heard and for our reports to be taken into account. So the reports are a long process, and we have 2 stages of peer review. And the summary for policymakers at the end is discussed during a plenary consultations with our focal points from this institution in the region to be sure that all the information is traceable and have been discussed and is policy relevant, because that's the ultimate goal as well. So we use the calibrated language from the IPCC, for example, and I just read the last part about the consultation of the government representatives. It's an organized system that goes through our secretariat and the secretariat of the other institutions. to be able to consult on the outline, for example, when we develop during the first stage, the outline, or when we develop the summary for policymakers, to have this stage of consultation with them about the content. They don't intervene in the scientific content, but in the relevance and some other details. I think I'm going to stop there because then I have a few other slides. So that was, as I said, the latest publications that we presented at the UNFCCC COP 29 last November. That was the whole process with the number of authors, and you can see that it's a long process with a lot of scientific publications assessed. I'm not going to go through the reports. I just want to say that I'm going to end on the challenges and opportunities because it's as you can see, we are 10 years old. It's always we tend to work always with the same people. I think the science policy interface is well established, but it's a day-to-day job to be able to understand on our side that policy development it's not straightforward. There is a lot of multiple stakeholders, and it's really a complex system. So we have to work on maintaining the engagement, understanding the complexities and rhythm of the policy making, and to understand their not weakness, but sometimes it's hard to make them understand the long-term aspect of it. In the policy making, that tends to be more short-term sometimes. We have to work hard on the communication aspect, so they understand the science basis of it, and understand and know how to learn with the uncertainty of it as well. So we benefit a lot for collaborating with other structured scientific networks such as MedCleaver. We are always looking to expand the range of contributors. As I said, it's on a volunteer basis, but for the report, we work with the authors, but also the expert reviewers. So that's what we are looking for now for the upcoming second Mediterranean assessment report. And also always trying to expand our dissemination opportunities on the reports as a whole, or building fact sheets and even workshops later. But as I said before, we are two in the scientific secretariat, so sometimes we have limited capacity for that. And I thank you very much with this last slide with our supporting institutions. No, last slide with the website and information. Sorry, it was too long. Thank you. Maybe I'm going to stop the sharing.
Thanks a lot, Julie. It was really helpful for many of our team over here. Especially, I think this is one important aspect that several of the research community doesn't actually quite actively engage ourselves. I have a question from Mohamed Humran again, because he's from Yemen, and he's wondering how the marine sciences and aquatic research from these regions can benefit from your work from Mediterranean. Is it able to do some like transferring of the experiences on how you do this science policy communication? Is there any way in which you reach out to the other regions, or is there any possibility by which they can reach out to you for some assistance or support?
Yes, really interesting question. They can absolutely reach to us because it's always nice to discuss this kind of very long process. It's not that easy to build. It takes time and energy, and it's always moving. It's not always the same people you collaborate with, because in these institutions you have focal points, but they might move. So, but to answer a little bit better questions, I don't think like the Yemeni General Authority can benefit our actions in discussing the process of building such interface and and the process of it. I don't know, in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, if I don't think there is a regional sea program like the UNEP map has, because I think it was a really helpful tool. Like the program was already existing. They already knew that they were missing some kind of assessment. So that was a really push for the building of it. So I think you have to rely on the existing scientific network that already exists in the area, because also for the MEDEC, the core scientist group that was at the making of the creation of the MEDEC, they were involved in really big regional scientific research program called Mistral and other that were assessing the science of the Mediterranean as a whole through many aspects like hydrology, oceanography, social sciences, etc. So there was already an existing in the science and an existing in the policy. So obviously it was easier to have these two met. I'm not sure I'm answering the question properly, but you can definitely reach out to us to discuss it more. There's always a possibility of transferring the experience. Just have to.
Thanks a lot, Julie. I think now we will have a short presentation from the ECOP notes in region notes. If our speakers, Alexandra, Frederick, and you could stay on a little bit more for our Q&A session, I will highly appreciate that. Now over to Othman for presenting on ECOP Morocco note. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matthew. I will now try to share my screen.
Yeah. Yes, it's.
Can you see it?
Not yet.
Okay. How about now? It might take a time because it's a heavy presentation with a lot of pictures.
It's there.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay, so I will not take a long time because I know that we're practically closer to lunchtime in our time, so I'll be very fast. So ECOP Morocco is actually one of the earliest nodes that have been incepted in Africa. So I put a lot of beautiful words by saying that we are the leading force in the African region, and especially in North Africa. We're one of the rarest nodes in the Northern African regions. And we are also having a diverse background of a team that we deal with a lot of stuff, etc. So the node's inception was around 2023. The node has been created, but we started working officially with a lot of events in 2024. So this is practically our third year of being incepted. So it's a lot of fighting to get to do stuff. It's a lot of hustles also to do other stuff and to get the ECOP glowing on the side of the continent. So the coordination team is I would say it's very diverse. You can see me as being part of the national coordinator, but I've recently took that part. So at the start of 2025, but earlier I was not the coordinator, and you can see that we work in a diverse system. So we have a capacity development task team, and we have an ocean literacy task team. We have other partnership task team, and we have our social media and communication task team. And you can see that by dividing our approach into task teams, it makes us give each component enough time and enough resources so it can be developed. And by showing you a small snippet of what have we done in 2024, you might get to understand why we have done that. So basically at the earliest of 2024, we have done a launch gathering called Snip Tea and Snacks, because we could understand that if we want to get people on board, it should have at least some snacks involved. And it was the official launch of ECOP Morocco in the university systems. We had the previous African coordinator on board. We had partners from Brazil, partners from Europe, and also partners from Asia coming in to being our panelists. Unfortunately, because we had no funding, it was over online, and that was good. Also, one of the events that we have where we were keen to participate in was the IOC UNESCO Task Force meeting, which was in Morocco, and we're fortunate enough to be invited to be part of that. You can see also that ECOP Morocco was present also in the conference, the Ocean Decade Conference at Barcelona, and it's one of, I would say, the later on, you can see from the 15th of May to the 24th of June, we were happily invited to do a kind of ocean literacy courses to university students, and it was around thematics that are related to the ocean. And we finished those sessions with a perspective from three-eyed visions, because I was part of a previous project called the Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance as an All-Atlantic Youth Ambassador. So I gave the perspective of the Ocean Decade from that side. We had also the perspective from our partners, which is the Foundation Mohammed Sector for the Protection of the Environment in Morocco. And we had also perspective from ECOP, given by Sofia Larissa, which you kindly will have her tomorrow because she's the Ocean Literacy African Task Team leader. And also we were invited to the National Dialogue on Blue Economy because Morocco now is starting to do a lot of things with the blue economy, and it was amazing. And finally, the year ended early for us because it ended around July. 2024, and because we ended it with a regional conference of youth, which is basically which is the ARCOI, which is our regional, was something that we have, and we fought to get the ocean involved in it. And also at the last thing on the year, we got awarded a small grant for the ECOP team by the FAC, the Future Earth Coast team. That's for 2024. But how about 2025 and how much we can talk about? You can see that 2025 is not still over, and it's only at the beginning. So at the earliest of this year, meaning January, we got a call that we successfully were granted a UNESCO participation program with the assistance of the National Commission of UNESCO in Morocco. So we had a project that we submitted with them, and we were granted. So that project is culminated with two events. One event, which is the ECOP Ocean Dialogue, which we recently have done on the 29th of April, meaning just 1 week ago. And you can see that we had Virginia with us there. We had Sarah, the African ECOP coordinator, and we also had people from high executive and high decision-making people around the table to connect the dots. We also had representative from projects in Europe, like Oceano, the representative for them in Morocco, and we tried to culminate everything. Also, we had the representative of the Blue School Networks, and we tried to engage into an ECOP Moroccan strategy about what's the roadmap is looking at UNOC and what's the roadmap might look after UNOC. And also for the UNESCO participation program, we have around September, we will have the African ECOP conference, which will be led by ECOP Morocco. Unfortunately, we don't have unlimited funding, so we will not have a lot of people on board, but we'll try to select participants to come from African countries to get on board with us and to have a discussion. And one of the events that took us a lot of time was what we called Campus Bleu, or Blue Campus, and it was a collaboration between us, a French NGO called Banlieue Climat, and also the University of Mohammed V. It culminated in three kind of events. It was an official Blue Campus launch, an event where we brought university students to tell them a little bit about activism and social activism and how can we develop the idea of an ocean for all and not ocean only for people who live in the coasts. And also we've done some institutional visits, and also we've done some training sessions for university students, as you can see. But this is only the first quarter of 2025. We're looking to continue our Blue Campus campaign and initiative by visiting a lot of university. We have like principal agreement with 6 other universities to go and visit them. And our goal is to spread the word of ECOP on all Moroccan universities and basically have a ECOP club at each university so we can have more engagement with them, more engagement with the researchers, more engagement with youth, and also to have a little bit of institutional help. And you can see that even though we didn't have a lot of times, and I mean, we are working voluntarily, but one of the things that we were trying and always seek to do, especially after me becoming a national coordinator, is not asking people for money, but asking people to help us organize stuff, to collaborate with us to do stuff. And this is why we want to also launch a call today for anyone who wants to join us into doing events. We are welcoming all the ideas. We can share our partners, we can share our excitement, we can share our time, because that's what we do have, and also our energy. So yeah, if you want to join us and to shape in another event, you're welcome to contact us at our email or our social media, and let's shape the future of tomorrow step by step. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Othman. I appreciate that, and also all the work that you've done, and also the new ideas and thought process. Now we have the Belgium node. Over to Joanna.
Yes, thank you. I will start sharing my screen and, of course, mention again the great opportunity to be here and present it. I will see here. Can you see it well?
Yes.
Thank you. So my name is Juana Jimenez. I work at the Flanders Marine Institute in Belgium, but I'm supporting here the Belgian node together with my colleague Arthur de Vian in the coordination. So just to give you a general overview of how is the Ocean Decade community in Belgium, we have Decade implementing partners, 5 of the 16 that are global. We have a Decade coordination office on ocean data sharing, and we have the National Decade Committee. So we are being very grateful that we can collaborate with each of them. So we have become their contact point to share opportunities, of course, to connect with more ECOPs that are based in Belgium. So just to generally present the coordination, it's like with 2 volunteers, as I present myself and my colleague Arthur, but we also collaborate with partners as they are evolving. We have mentioned as well the National Decade Committee for Belgium, and we also collaborate with as partners with GPI Oceans, which is a Decade implementing partner, and the Flanders Marine Institute. But we also have this connection with the universities and the master programs here in Belgium that are very international. So we are able to connect with more ECOPs that go beyond our node, and they can participate in our activities, and we were connected as well in other actions. And we have this also open group, so we welcome everyone to stay in touch so that we can meet and we can co-create the actions together, but as well that they can share us their opportunities or their views on how we can improve the participation of ECOPs in different Ocean Decade actions. So now I would like to give the word to my colleague, Arthur, so he can present the priority areas.
Yes, I also want to extend a warm welcome from my side. I'm currently in Indonesia doing research, education, and restoration, mainly on corals. Thus, I hope that the connection stays stable. Joanna and me are coordinating the program of ECOP Belgium since the beginning, and here we have summarized 5 of our priority areas. Communication and outreach. We do this by meeting with our partners and community inputs, which we translate into yes.
We have some strong interference coming from your side. It's like quite high like noise over here. Is it possible to adjust with that? Maybe it's like wind or something like that is like onto your microphone. But can you just try it now?
Is it better now?
Yeah, better, way better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I will start again with the communication and outreach. So we do this with meeting with our partners and with community inputs, which we translate into events that we organize together with our partners for the ECOPs. We also share opportunities on our platforms relevant to the ECOPs, such as jobs, internships, and events. Opportunities are listed on the ECOP Belgium sites and are shared on LinkedIn and Instagram. There's also an option to share your opportunities on our platforms, for which there will be a QR code later in this presentation. And we focus on supporting the ECOPs and training on required skills, ranging from advanced education to future jobs and research. This can be soft or transferable skills to even specific support if it meets our capacities. We support Blue Education for everyone via citizen science, but also by engaging the youth and schools. And we prioritize by creating ocean bridges from the ECOP program. This means connecting the ECOPs with the EOPs, the experienced ocean professionals. And we want to go beyond by connection of the youth and the schools. We do believe in lifelong learning and value the input and opportunities that building bridges creates. For the next slide.
Yes, so I can take over on this part. We want to present you some of the actions that we have been doing since our launching in 2023. And one of them is connecting with the partners to gather and be able to share the participations grants. So these grants has been given by the National Decade Committee, by their partners, and as well by the philanthropy that see as a good cause. So the first participation grants that we were able to collect were to the Ocean Decade Conference, where we had 7 ECOPs with 3 experienced ocean professionals that came from different parts of the world. And we were able to not only make them participate on this part, but also connect them with the experienced oceans professionals from Chile, from Belgium. So they're able to perform and also amplify their networking experience. Now we're gladly to also connect with other institutions and be able to offer participations grant for the conference of ECUBA is on archaeology, and the conference of MCE on ocean literacy. We also support a meaningful participation, so it's not only again that they go to the conference, the ECOPs, but as well that they can increase their professional development and their career. So now the World Conference on Marine Biodiversity, we have also act as this contact point. I shared the call, so 3 ECOPs are able to participate in the scientific committee. They will give input on the abstracts and also give input on the thematic areas of this conference. And together with the 19 other experienced ocean professionals, they can improve the networking part. We also have been able to do some career and networking events. Here we have a great support from the university, so we connect the ECOPs with their alumni networks, and in this way we are able to share experience, and they're able to listen how is to go to the job hunting or find other opportunities. There are also other conferences where we participate and support like the engagement on the Ocean Decade and to join the ECOP program. These are, for example, on the Bliss Marine Science Day is every year and focus on only ECOPs, and they are able to share their projects, their master theses are also present and here on the keynotes. So we have been also invited to other conference, and now with the universities part from their alumni networks. Back to you, Arthur.
On our site of ECOP Belgium, we share the opportunities. These are by the partners of ECOP Belgium, but also by the community, which can be forwarded to us, and then they get shared again on the Instagram and as well on LinkedIn. If there are any opportunities that you are interested to share for Belgium, you can also follow the QR codes on this presentation. And on the next slide, I will give the word back to Joanna.
Yeah, we are also wanted to share with you how is to connect this. We're able to create this bridge of connecting the offer and demand. So we have gathered a summary of the opportunities in Belgium. Here that goes from training, funding, how to support your studies, or also if you are from abroad and you would like to study here in Belgium, how you can connect with these opportunities, and also options or the job offers that it could be. So we're able to connect these institutions that are the offer with the demand and the ECOPs. It's a non-exhaustive list, but it helps to everyone here that are based in Belgium to at least have a first links and contact points.
So it's possible to reach ECOP Belgium through the Instagram, LinkedIn, and also for the actions, it's still possible to forward them to the Ocean Decade Actions. And as well below, again, there is another QR for our link tree to have an overview of our actions.
Yes, and we are here. If you have any questions, we will stay connected, but thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Belgian coordinators. Now, I think due to its short of time, we will run to the Dutch node. Over to Mariana.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just let me share my screen. And let me see that the presentation is working well. Can you see my screen?
Yes, but not in presentation mode.
Okay, yeah. Just 1 second.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. So I am Mariana. I am one of the coordinators of the ECOP Dutch node. We want to give first a big thank you to Matthew for helping organize this event and for giving us the opportunity to show a little bit of what we do at the node. First of all, I would start a little bit with what's our vision. We're very keen in creating an inclusive and collaborative network that amplifies the voices and contributions of ECOPs in the Netherlands. This means that for us it's very important to consider that an ECOP Dutch node member can be someone that is from the Netherlands or based in the Netherlands, and also very important for us is that we consider the Dutch Caribbean as well. Then for our mission, we really want to build an inclusive space with horizontal communication, so everyone's voice matters. We care a lot about what members have to say and how we can all collaborate and make a community together. We care about creating networking spaces for our members, also some public engagement so more people can know more about the node, as well as really bridging that gap between intergenerational collaborations, as well as trying to support and grow our members and the ECOP Dutch node overall. So the steering committee is put by 3 of us. There is Kjeld Werter, that he is the one that started the node. There is Peter Puskic. He's originally from Australia, but he works at the Ocean Cleanup in Rotterdam. And then there is me. I'm Mariana. I did my master's here in the Netherlands. I'm based here in the Netherlands and work also with Plastic Marine Litter. We have an ongoing collaboration partner that is the Sustainable Ocean Community. That is a joint program between Utrecht University and the Royal Netherlands Institute for Sea Research. This is our ongoing collaboration partner that also helps us get funding for the ECOP Dutch node, and we do a lot of activities with them. So here are a little bit of stats of where the Dutch node is at. We have 35 different nationalities. We have around 125 members and counting. We can see a little bit per province. If you know a little bit about the Netherlands, maybe this speaks to you. If not, I'll explain very briefly. So Utrecht is pretty much the middle of the country. That's where the majority of our members are located. Then we have Gelderland, where we have Wageningen University. That's one of the big hubs for marine science in the Netherlands as well. After that, we have North Holland, that is where Amsterdam is located. And after that, we pretty much have South Holland, where Den Haag, Delft, Rotterdam is located. So as you can see, we really have a good variety of members all over the country. Also, the majority of our members are students, it being bachelor or master students. Our second biggest group is people that work within research or PhDs, but we also have people that are just ocean enthusiasts, that want to do more like ocean citizen science, or that work at NGOs, and a small percentage in industry that, of course, we would like to increase. Okay, so a very, very brief timeline. The ECOP Dutch node was just open in March of 2024. Then we had a space at the National Ocean Science Conference in Leiden on the 6th of June. Then we had a meeting with the Dutch National Ocean Decade Committee, so we also have link with them. Then we had recognition by Utrecht University for this formation, and the first meeting that we have of the ECOP Dutch node was on the 6th of September, when we really got fully established. Here are a little bit of pictures of us at the National Ocean Science Conference last year. Here we can see how you can recognize Kijelt. We got recognized at the Utrecht University for a Student Impact Prize. And what we have going on is that we have a couple of working groups. So we have 4 dedicated working groups, each one's with its own characteristics and goals. We have a networking group that the idea is that it will help us build connections within our community, but also with other institutions, partners, student associations. This will also help us share resources and updates, and in general also promote intergenerational collaboration. With activism, we want to be able to give the opportunity for members of the node to enter certain spaces and engage diverse stakeholders, advocate for ocean policies, and also just collaborate overall. For social media, we also promote events, share updates, and pretty much we have an engaged online community. And for the mentoring and training, we develop skills through workshops, we pair ECOPs with mentors, and we want to host opportunities and facilitate collaborations overall. Some of the activities that we have done so far when it comes to each one of the groups, here in the Netherlands, there is a concept called borrel, that is basically after drinks, work situation, getting together. So we have organized those type of events for the members of the node, so they can get to know each other. We also organize a potluck. Here is the flyer. And we also have outings related to ocean activities. We went all together to International Ocean Film Tour. We will soon also go together to see the new David Attenborough documentary, but we really are trying as well to collaborate with the student associations to also bring more of that networking part with institutions. For the social media and outreach, we had a newsletter going on for 7 months now, that there we share events, job opportunities, what's happening at the node, reads and media. So it's a really, really good overview of all the gather opportunities we had every month, and it's an extremely useful resource for our members. We also have LinkedIn, that we have really good presence. We also share research highlights of our members. If we have any events or collaborations going on, as well as opportunities. We have Instagram, that is a little bit more low-key, where we share more of the events, so what's been going on, but we also share any collaborations we have going on. We have our webpage, as I mentioned, we have the newsletter, and we have a WhatsApp group where people can share some events or things that they have going on as well. For activism, we're organizing some beach cleanups, but we're waiting for better weather for that. We also have an ongoing reading recommendations and articles where ECOPs can share what they're reading at the moment, or if they want to discuss an article. We also have an Ocean Hour program where people can explain what the connection to the ocean is, and more activities planned. For the mentoring and training, we did a data management workshop. We were very fortunate that it worked really well for our node. And then we managed to bring it for the ECOP Global, actually last week. And we have ongoing collaborations with student organizations to identify mentoring necessities. So we're developing a survey for that. And our current highlight is that there will be the National Ocean Science Conference in Leiden at Naturalis, that is like the nature museum here in the Netherlands, where we have a big presence. We will have a stand with our collaborating partners so people can know more about the node. And we will also be preparing 3 very engaging workshops. One where we will talk about collaboration between policy, academia, and industry. Another one about communication in ocean science spaces, how to engage with stakeholders and how to enter those spaces. And also, we're going to be making an art piece with all of our members that Peter Kijeld and I will be bringing to Nice, France, to really show the impressions of the ECOP Touch Node overall. And yeah, why would it be nice if you want to collaborate with us? We can co-design internships or workshops, mentoring opportunities or networking. We have a very diverse network, as you can see, and really successful communication channels. So access to that is always great. And of course, we want to support our members to create ocean innovation, you know, and help bring the ideas of our members to life. So yeah, if you want to connect with us, we have Instagram, LinkedIn, we have our webpage, and these are our 2 emails. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Mariana. Now I think we will jump on to the German, Swiss, and Austrian nodes, the join together, and it will be presented by Tristan. Over to you, Tristan.
Yeah, cheers, Matthew. Hi, everyone. I'm going to jump right in and share my screen for the sake of time and lunch break. So, can you see?
Yes, not in the presentation.
No.
Yes, no.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to present today a bit about our ECOP, previously ECOP Germany node, now called ECOP DACH node. Yeah, you can see below, this is our team. It's the 6 people who are part of the coordination unit. I'm going to talk really briefly about what we've done so far. So we were established in December 2023, had a kickoff meeting in February earlier 2024, where we had an online survey where we kind of asked our community, which you can see like is roughly about 180 members in our LinkedIn group, about what they expect from the ECOP program in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and like what they kind of want us to do. So we adjusted our actions towards this a bit. Well, we were present in some conferences and some courses, and I'm not going to go too much into that, what has been done in the past, but I would rather like to show you what we're going to do in the future. So what has happened recently in the ECOP DACH node is that we have an UN-endorsed program which is called the Wellenbrecher podcast, which basically means wave breaker translated into English. So this is like we want to give a voice to people that are actively involved in the UN Ocean Decade and transform it into the German-speaking community. Right now, what just started today is the National Ocean Conference in Germany, in Berlin, where almost all of our coordinators besides me are. Then we will have participate in a side event at the One Ocean Science Congress in Nice, beginning of June, and later on during the UN Ocean Decade Conference in Nice, there will be a side event on the German research vessel. During that, we will be taking part at the ECOP days in June. So a bit more in the future, we will organize a summit during the Ocean Race, which starts in Kiel in August and ends in Montenegro in September. So if you want to get involved in that, just reach out to us because we are still organizing this and we want to have like an international perspective on it too. Furthermore, I would like to welcome our newest coordination member, Cora Hörstmann, is going to step down a bit from her position, and we have now Julia Van Huda, who's actively joining the coordination unit. But that is just something that has developed recently. What has developed recently too, and is not really official yet is that we are partnering up a bit with the Sustainable Ocean Alliance from Germany, since we have similar interests that we want to drive forward the youth-driven participation in online, but as well in-person events for broader conferences around Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Then I just wanted to announce real quick that we have an ECOP travel grant running right now, which is from the ODK, so the German National Committee of the UN Ocean Decade, for one ECOP to join the Blue Zone, so not just the Green Zone at the UN Ocean Decade Conference. If somebody's interested in applying, please check out our social media channels. We've shared it there. This runs until the 11th of May, and as well, since I think a lot of young people want to maybe present something during the UN Ocean Decade Conference but cannot be there, for example, I just wanted to highlight the ECOP Days, which I already participated in last year, which is happening this year again, where you can just share what you are doing. We will have interviews, we will have live reports from the UN Ocean Decade Conference, and you can all watch it for free online on YouTube, and as well there will be a Zoom link. And as I said, I'm going to keep it short. If you want to reach out to us, if you want to listen to our podcast, please feel free to check it out on social media, write us an email, get connected on the social media account, or if you just want to be a silent listener, go join the podcast. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tristan. I think now we can have a short Q&A session. And I think we have our team members. Frederick had to leave, but Alexandra and Julie are here. And also the coordinators from the different nodes. And if there are any specific questions or comments, I think the floor is now open.
Just ask something?
Yes, you can.
Yes. Yeah, well, thank you, first of all, for the presentation of the nodes. I think it's really, interesting to see that it's also a lot that's happening on a national level. So I think if you have any, would like to have some interaction with our regional nodes, because we work more like on a regional basis, but I'm sure there might also be some potential interactions and things we could possibly do together. We're working together also with the Federation, as I said, of aquaculture producers. They have this next gen forum, which is also young professionals in aquaculture. So I don't know if there is an interest in collaborating. As you said, there might be also an interest to work with industry representatives at the early career. That's also possible to get in touch with us.
Thanks, Alexandra. We definitely have a very strong interest in collaborating with the industry, because that's one key aspect which we have in general in ECOP, and very especially in Norway because of the structure that we have. And I'll get you in touch for more details. Thank you. Yes. Any more questions, comments, discussions? Do you want to have? Okay. There is a question about ECOP initiative in Tunisia, but I think Evgenia will be answering to that. I have a question. Yeah, Tristan, go ahead, please.
Yeah, maybe just real quick. So as Evgenia has pointed out in the beginning, there is as well the regional node for Europe, and we are as well actively looking for countries which have yet not established a national node. So there is you can see it on the website where nodes have been established, for example, in Europe. I'm just talking about Europe right now, but it as well accounts to global efforts. And if you are in one of the countries which there is no node, and if you want to maybe establish a node, please feel free as well to reach out to us, because we want to drive forward the European community as a whole and get involved as well people from other countries which don't have a node yet, for example.
Thanks, Tristan. I think it's a very important point that you just raised. And I think if there are any ECOPs from any regions in the world and they want to start on a new node and be connected to our team, please reach out to us. I have a question to Julie. So are there any opportunities that are coming up with regard to, because you are again like working with a lot science policy communication, is there any specific events or reports that you would like any of the ECOPs to get involved with, and any possibilities by which some of the relevant ones can take part?
Yes, of course, there are always opportunities. Not all the time, but as I said, we are launching the production of the second assessment report. So we just did the scoping meeting, and so one of the outcome was the almost detailed outline. So obviously there is going to be a section on the topics that the ECOP can be interested, but more on a regional level, I would say. Like I'm looking at Othman from the north of Morocco, but as I said as well, it's volunteer work, so it can be an opportunity for young scientists to be involved in this kind of report. Of course, then normally every chapter stands as its own, so it has referencing, and the expert reviewers are acknowledged as well. So it's not the industry side, but it's more on the scientist side. If a young researcher would like to be involved in that kind of big report, it can be interesting. We are looking up also to try to have more presence in each country through maybe some workshops, but it's really the early beginning of this idea. And so I think when we do it, obviously it would be a nice way to be involved as well with the regional node. And in terms of communication, we have some infographics, but that's not a lot for a 10 years existing science policy interface, or some for the latest report, we built a 4-pager. So we have one on the coastal risk report, but obviously it's always nice when at some point after 10 years, you can have fact sheet on, I don't know, urban cities, or you're gonna take all the materials that you have built in all these reports to make specific fact sheets that are more impactful for some category of policymakers or general public. Yeah, we still don't have the full capacity of doing that on a daily basis, because it takes a lot of time. So I would say that if young researcher, I'm going to stop saying young, but people from this node are interested in collaborating on this kind of topics, obviously we are interested, but we should discuss that, because it's not like jobs, you know, proper jobs.
Yeah, I understand that. Good, thanks a lot. I think we just have 3 minutes, and I think I just want to conclude it quickly for your time and effort, because we have one more day tomorrow for active discussions and meeting up the different nodes. And also tomorrow we will learn more about the different players that are in the capacity development programs, and also in ocean literacy leaders that are pioneering up activities within ECOP. And if you don't have any further questions or comments, I mean, like, still a lot of people are actively discussing in our chat. It's really good to see that. But if you have any specific questions, you can ask it now. We have 3 more minutes. And highly appreciate for the very active discussion that had been in here, and also the presentators, Alexandra, Frederick, and Julie. It was really interesting. And I think we are looking forward for more active collaborations with you in the near future, to have more solid activities with you. And you can all reach out to any of us in the, audience can reach out to us if you want to get any further information or get in touch with any of the speakers. We will be already posting all the meeting webinar recordings in our YouTube channel, so you are free to subscribe in there so that you can actively follow every regular events in case you miss any of them. And then we have regular webinar sessions and discussions going on. Please join us over there. Any further comments or discussion points that you want to do? Anyone?
I just want to say I was impressed because you all do that on your free time, like as a. Okay, so congratulations to all, because I know it's not that easy to sustain a network. So yeah, that's really impressive to see that, and really nice. Good energy.
Thanks a lot, Julie. Thanks a lot, Alexandra. You too. Yeah, and thanks
Yes.
for all the team, especially I think I have to thank Natalie. She was like, every time FBNA is asking some things, immediately pops up in our chat. Thanks a lot for helping us out. And all the presentators from the different nodes. We are looking forward for tomorrow's session as well. Thank you all. Bye. Take care.
Thank you and good luck.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.